So, all right, here this game I'm again gonna start with knight to f3. Galaga is greater than Tetris. I have played all those games quite a bit. I mean, honestly, I'm not very good at Tetris, so I would have to agree with you. I mean, Galaga, of course. Let's get back to chess because I don't know why I started talking about Galaga. He plays e6, doesn't develop the bishop. Now I'm going to go e3. I might play knight e5. I might go bishop d3, depending on what my opponent chooses to play in this position. So he goes there. So now I'm going to develop in castle here because I need to get the king out of the middle of the board. Let's castle. I mean, Galaga is great when you get the fighter capture, and then you get the double fighter at the bottom with the two pew-pews. That's always the best. I'm going to go h3, so knight h5. I can just go bishop to h2 back. Save this bishop on the nice long diagonal. Goes rook e8. Now I'm going to go knight to e5. Maybe queen f3 and g4, h4 is playable here. At least that's what I want to do. Okay, let's go queen f3. I can take with the bishop, take with the pawn here. You always love the double pew-pew. Exactly. It goes bishop d6. I'm going to go e4. Try to open up the center of the board here as much as I can. I've got great control with all these pieces. Black is lacking. The rook and the bishop are not developed here. But take with the knight. Why are we playing the a6 variation? Because I think it's the best variation to play as a beginner because it stops all the knight b5 cheese. It stops all this knight b5 cheese, which I think is actually a big issue, honestly. He takes. Okay, so I'll take with the pawn. I want to keep my two bishops alive here. That's why I took with the pawn instead of the bishop, because his king is a little bit weak here. He's got these pawns in front of it, but he has no major pieces nearby. So when I retreat the bishop backwards, this king is a little bit soft. You've got these pawns, you've got a classic bathtub formation, but I've got this bishop, this knight, maybe queen g4, some serious threats towards the king side. It would have been fun to see people falling for it. Yeah, but that's not the purpose. Goes rook f8. Now, he's looking to maybe go f6 or f5. I really like rook f8. Very good thematic move. I'm going to play c4 before he can get this in. Kick this knight out of the center of the board. The knight does cover this f6 square, so I want to kick the knight away. He'll move the knight somewhere. I don't know if he'll go here or here. He goes there. Now I'm going to play rook e1 so I can protect this when he moves the knight either way to hit the pawn. Goes knight f5. Let's go rook d1 here. The rook's in the center of the board. Black's still behind in development. This rook and this bishop are simply not in the game yet. So he goes to f6 anyway, which is probably a very good move, objectively. The only problem here with Black's position is that he's still lacking in development, and I have the rooks on the ideal two central squares here, and he has a weak pawn on e6. But he's going to take weak pawn, so I've got the two towers on the right files. Let's go... I'll go here. If I go to c2, I'm worried his knight d4 to fork the bishop and the queen. So I'm going back to d1. I'm trying to keep the bishops alive. I might try to use the two diagonals as well. I'm going to go here, attack the knight, trying to set up the double pew-pew in the center of the board. But take with the queen, there's a battery here. Massive threat with g4, bishop on e5, also super well placed. It goes bishop d7. So I think I can play g4. I'm worried about bishop c6, though, hitting the queen. And then he's got threats on this long diagonal, potentially. So... for more thematic approach, I'm going to sack the rook. He's going to take, and then I'm going to go g4. Try to kick this horse out of town. And now I'm definitely crashing through with queen h7. I'm trusting I have enough play here. I'm not actually sure if I do. We go check. King is now on the loose. I don't actually have a forced mate here because the knight covers g6. But still, I can take with the bishop, and both these bishops combined with the queen, and the rook being on a great open e-file means that I will win this game very shortly. Goes rook g8. Now, there are many ways to win this position. I'm trying to think what the simplest one is that makes the most sense. I think I'm just going to drop the bishop back to c3, line up the double... oops, there goes the rook, and there goes the game. Now, if he were to not blunder the rook,